Before we go over everything, this is hypothetical, and this is going off of things that I've seen online. Could Kaapo Kakko eventually be better than Jack Hughes? This is coming from a purely statistical point of view, just looking at the numbers and everything that we've seen so far throughout 1819. I'm asking this because I saw this on a Reddit comment section. On this post here on Our Hockey, it talks about how Pierre McGuire came on to TSN 690 and talked about Jack Hughes. He had this to say about the young American center. He's not McKinnon. He's not McDavid. He's not Matthews. I think it's a reach to call him a generational player. A big reach. Then they threw out the name Nico Hischier, and McGuire agreed. Jack Hughes is that level of a star, in his opinion. So, that's something interesting to consider, because I know for me personally, I kind of had Hughes in that same realm as McKinnon and Matthews, below McDavid, because McDavid is on a completely different scale. If you go back to that video I made maybe a few months ago talking about franchise and generational players, I had Hughes in the franchise section, along with McKinnon, Matthews, Eichel, Laine, and Byfield and Lafreniere. I think I'd change things up a little bit if I were to make that video again, but that's what I had before. So Pierre McGuire is coming over here with that comparable, saying that Jack Hughes is in that Hischier category, and Hischier on my list was elite. So let's just proceed a little bit forward with what we have in the comments of this Reddit thread. Jack has 10 goals, 48 points in 25 games with the US National Team Development Program so far. Now, a quick aside from here, Jack actually has not been producing at the rate that he could be. A lot of people are talking about his goal totals because those are quite down. Last year, when he played for this exact same team, the US National U18 team, he had 27 goals in 36 games played. So, his goal totals today in this season are quite low. Let's get back to the quote that we're talking about here. For the record, Clayton Keller had 16 goals, 50 points in 25 games with the US National Team Development Program at this point in his draft season. Hughes is hovering around Clayton Keller's pace, and McGuire thinks that Hughes is in Hischier's tier. Let's scroll down a little bit in this thread, where Remote Production responds, "Okay, cool. Hope the Devils figure out who in this class is at Pedersen's tier." Then the comment right after says, "The Finnish dude going to Kakko. Calling it now, quote me, put me in the screenshot. Never even seen him play, I just like his name." But what I really wanted to get into was the comment that responds to this comment. So the fourth comment in this thread, he is matching Laine's draft year production right now, and has started playing games at center too. Which is why, in my opinion, we have to entertain this discussion. Because if you look at the Liga numbers for players under the age of 18, let's skip over the first 5 because they all have less than 3 games played. Mikael Granlund is first in points per game with .93, Barkov is second with .91 points per game, Kaapo Kakko is 5th with .74 goals per game, and right underneath him at 7th is Patrik Laine with 17 goals, 16 assists in 46 games. Kaapo Kakko at a 46-game pace, which is the same amount of games as Laine, is on pace for 15 goals, 18 assists, and 1 more point than Patrik Laine's draft year at 34. So taking a look at things with this vision, this tunnel vision that we've established for ourselves right here, because that's really what it is. We're just taking a look at hypotheticals, tunnel vision, and all that. Assume Kaapo Kakko has the same trajectory as Patrik Laine, because that is the most recent comparable, aside from, of course, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who is actually all the way down there at a .5 points per game in his draft year in the Liga. Assume that Kaapo Kakko maintains the same trajectory and he has a similar path to the NHL and in the NHL as Patrik Laine. even with that added benefit that Kaapo Kakko is now playing center. Think about that for a minute. Is this enough to propel him above Jack Hughes, who has Clayton Keller numbers, who Pierre Maguire defined as Nico Hischier tier? It's something to think about. Personally, if it were up to me, and I were taking a look at just this, I wouldn't take a look at Craig Button, I wouldn't take a look at any of the other scouting ranks, I'd take a look at just this quote by Pierre Maguire, as well as just strictly the numbers. I would say yeah. I'd say Kaapo Kakko is playing as a center, he's having an equal draft year to that of Patrik Laine, and the guy who's supposed to go ahead of him, Jack Hughes, is not as good as Auston Matthews, the guy who went ahead of Laine. So, it's really interesting to see 1-2 because Kaapo Kakko and Jack Hughes are just a completely different monster in comparison to Doc, Cousins, Byram, etc. I think everybody's kind of had this predetermined mindset that, yeah, Hughes is 1, Kakko is 2. But I think having conversations like this really promotes the idea that anybody could go first overall. And if it's not Jack Hughes, it very well could be Kaapo Kakko. Now, I'm not guaranteeing anything right here. I'm just bringing up these arguments. Do you think that Kaapo Kakko could eventually surpass Jack Hughes in the 2019 draft rankings? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pleasant on gaming, and bye.